Welcome to Pod Me If You Can, I'm David Farrell. Today on the show, the film is The Good Humour Man, which stars Nathan Stevens, Kelsey Grammer, Jorge Garcia, and Jason Segel.
Pardon Me If You Can, movie reviews.
Set in the 1970s, The Good Humour Man features Jay, played by Nathan Stevens, a middle-class high schooler that hangs out in LA with slackers and punks. His best friend John, aka Mount Rushmore, played by Jorge Garcia, is the muscle of the group. At a wedding that he and his friends crash, Jay flirts with Wendy, played by Cameron Richardson, and winds up inciting a brawl between his friends and the jocks that are in the bridal party. John beats one member so badly that he later dies. As his relationship with Wendy grows, Jay's friendships are strained as the police investigate and the jocks look for revenge. So this independent film is in the vein of Dazed and Confused, except in Dazed and Confused, people just got spanked. In this film, people die. There are beatings, and it's a lot bleaker. One of the first problems I had with this film was the score. The music seems to drone on and on, really imprinting that gritty, bleak mood on you. For an hour and 52 minutes, that's a long time to be put down and beaten down with this kind of score. Jay has a lot of attitude, but in his relationship with Wendy, he's a caring guy. They break into a church, for example, to see a 500-year-old statue because he thinks she'll like it. Now, Kelsey Grammer's part of the film as Jay's dad. He also executive produces. And he basically sits in the same chair in 4 different scenes, and it feels a little like he didn't need to be in the film. There's a movie called Brick by Rian Johnson, which he did well before Star Wars: The Last Jedi. And in Brick, you only ever see the teenagers. And it was really fantastic. There's no adult presence, and all of the kids are acting like adults. It's a murder investigation. And that felt like it would have been fantastic if it was the case here. The more adults you see, the more it removes you from this kind of teenage world that it would have been great to stay in. His relationship with Wendy really is the heart of the film. At one point she says, "He could be crunchy on the outside and chewy on the inside." It's real 1970s kind of dialogue that seems to be captured very well here, and one thing that the film does right. Cameron Richardson plays Wendy, and she's easily the most appealing cast member. She comes off as likeable, innocent, and genuine. This is also a realistic portrayal of the first time people get together, an honest kind of young love. It does all slow the film down and add to that 1 hour 52 runtime, but I would still remove the adult scenes, all of the parents and all the police officer interactions, before I would touch this romance. Jason Segel plays Smelly Bob, who's a character who's 25 hanging out with 17-year-olds, and he's previously been to jail, and it's sort of unclear why these are his friends. To be honest, it's hard to see any of these people as delinquents. We know Jorge Garcia so well as Hurley from Lost, and we know Jason Segel from How I Met Your Mother and Freaks and Geeks, and for these two characters to come off so negatively here and play these delinquents, putting people in headlocks, being accused of murder and things like that, it's very hard to stretch, and that's probably one of the major reasons this film doesn't work for me. But I am a big fan of Lost and How I Met Your Mother. At one point after Jay is hit on the head, Wendy says, "Those are some friends you have," and she's right. The crowd that Jay hangs out with has turned violent and dangerous, and it happens during the course of the film. They go from slackers to, there's murder in the air and there's violence in the air, and it's not a friendship group you want to associate with. Even the title seems wrong. The Good Humour Man, like he has a good sense of humour, but often he's just a smartass. It's not as if he's a comedian of the group. He just has a sense of humour. It doesn't fit at all. This movie is bleak. It doesn't have any big moments to redeem it. Every moment feels small, forgettable, and there's a reason this was forgotten since 2005 and largely unwatched. It is an independent film, but it definitely could have been tighter and better. Now, as for some spoilers, you've been warned. If you don't want to know what happens, I just want to share a couple of things real quick. The DVD, which I'm happy to say I didn't read beforehand, absolutely spoils everything. I'm just going to do a quick read of the synopsis on the back. The Good Humour Man tells the story of Jay, a 16-year living in Midwest suburbia circa 1976. Jay and his group of friends could be described as juvenile delinquents. Yet Jay is drawn to Wendy. Wendy and her jock and jockette friends are the antithesis of Jay's group. Increasingly, Jay is faced with making life choices. Does he stay loyal to his best friend Rushmore, even though he believes Rushmore has killed a jock, Richie Rubin? Or does he listen to the voice of reason, conscience, and morality coming from his father? Will his love for Wendy pull him from the surroundings he has known into a world which he has in the past denigrated? Jay finds out that in fact one of his gang, Smelly Bob, has killed the jock and not Rushmore. In the climax of the story, Smelly Bob stabs Jay with the same knife he used to kill Richie. Jay literally holds on to the evidence, thus making a choice to do the moral right. As for Jay and Wendy, we know they love each other, but are not sure if their love will surmount the obstacles that they faced, but they have shared an experience that has left an impression on both of them. So that's really unfortunate that a DVD and its publicity could basically outline the final part of the film, that Smelly Bob stabs him with a knife and so on. It completely spoils the third act and spells it out for you on the back of the box.
Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Check out our podcast at www.podmeyifyoucan.com.